Right, the scratch art paper, be sure you have your basic design drawn out. And you can think about how it extends onto the white paper. I just have a piece of scratch art paper here, but keep in mind the white paper around it, and it's all one artwork. So your design probably extends somehow onto the white paper or is all part of the same thing. But the scratch art paper, get the basic outline on there first. And remember, you can't erase, so think before you write. And then remember that you don't want to rest your hands directly on it. Then the next thing to think about is texture and pattern. So both of these make the scratch art paper look so much more interesting. Right now you can see mine is mostly black with some white lines. So it's not really very interesting. Texture is an element of art and makes the surface look like it might feel a certain way. So you could think about, with texture, making something look bumpy. And you could go back in and maybe widen up some of these. And in this process, you're getting rid of some of the black and you're lightening up parts of it, because this doesn't have any color to it, so it's black and white. Too much black or too much white, and it's just not as interesting to look at. You want a nice balance of black and white. So texture might be something like that. You can try different textures. This will look a little bit like sand or something like that. So texture can be quite effective. You can change up the texture. Maybe over here I decide to do and then other things that work well on scratch art paper is thinking about your line quality and how you can double up lines or widen lines. Where do you want to see more white? And where would you rather keep it darker? And then mostly you don't leave a lot of it either pure white or completely black. Okay, then the other one that I'd like you to think about is pattern. Pattern is decorative repetition of any of the elements, so you could actually do pattern with texture. So I could go, okay, it's going to be bumpy here, and it's kind of sandy, bumpy, and it doesn't have to repeat in the regular fashion. I could change it up, and I can do that with texture. I can also do it with shape. So let's see, in this one I decide I'm going to do triangles, then circles, and squares, and triangles, and circles. And you can fill in, you can try lightening some of them up in different ways. Fun source of patterns would be to look up Zentangle patterns, and you'll see all sorts of different patterns you can try out. Those are different things you might try out. That if you're having trouble thinking of patterns, look up on your device Zentangle patterns, and you'll see all sorts of interesting patterns you can try out. And you can put pattern or texture in the shapes you drew. It can be in the background like I just did. And then I look at it and decide, well, what needs to have more white showing? What needs to be left? And you have to plan ahead with the black. You can't scratch it off and go, oops, I wish I had left that on there. So, and then to be finished, you want to think about, do you have a nice balance between black and white? Have you created an interesting surface on this artwork with texture and pattern? Other things that will help you, you can use a ruler if you want a straight line. You can go right on the scratch art paper. Draw straight lines. If I wanted to draw a pattern with line, I could certainly use a ruler. And it's going to take a while. Make it look interesting. Give it a lot of variety in the texture and pattern. It tends to be unified through the black and white. So variety in texture and pattern give it a lot of visual interest. Now once you're done, when you think you're done, just check to make sure that you have a lot of variety in texture and pattern. And then if you think, oh, I wish it wasn't just black and white, I wish there was some color to it, I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to switch over to another piece here. So here I've already, you can see there's some color going here. Well, the background's white. This is optional, but if you, once you're done with it, with all the texture and pattern, this one doesn't look done, but I've got parts that are, then once you're completely done, you have to be sure you're done, then you can use colored pencils. Oops, come back here. And you can color in the white. Now the thing is, by doing this, you're not taking off the black, but the black will no longer be able to be scraped off anymore. So this works particularly well in areas where you might have a lot of white showing. Right there, I just created an area with a lot of white, and then I can come in with a colored pencil and add some color to it. And you can see I've done that in several different places on here. So here's some green. Maybe I can hold this up for you to see a little better. There's green. There's some pink. Sorry, this is kind of reflective. There's some other colors, blue and green and pink right there. So if you would like to try that, then use colored pencil, and you would do this mostly on the areas where there is a lot of white already showing. And it will make it so that the black won't scratch off very well anymore, but hey, you didn't do it until you decided you were done. So I wouldn't want to do that on this one because I'm not done with it. And if you like the black and white, great, use the black and white.